Hell yeah! I love Rockabilly night at this place. I don't mean to brag, but this is actually my playlist the DJ has the girls dancing to. She can be a real bitch sometimes, but what can I say? She knows good stuff when she hears good stuff. I think that alone should give me a glass of some of that good stuff myself. Wouldn't you agree, my bar's keeper? I suppose Shire Clydesdale just doesn't carry the respect it carried last week. Huh. Ugh, typical. Who do you think advertises your bud anyhow? Oh, hey! I know you. I've seen you here before. You're Hisette's torpy little writer friend, right? Fucking knew it! Kari told me that Hisette has been practically talking about you non-stop since meeting you. She's crazy about you. Bet that got you feeling a type of way. Just promise to keep it in your pants, bub. I don't know how to tell you this, but hearing Alamia talk about her super cool new human friend is a little different than listening to you lusting over her. One is an event, the other is Tuesday, and in the name of the Templar Knights that rode before me, I hate Tuesdays. Do I work here? Why, Jagoff? You want to see a centaur climb a pole? I'd like to see you fall off a cliff at this rate. Oh, so that was a sincere question. Am I really supposed to know the difference these days? I don't work here. Obviously. Let's face it, I'm not exactly the kind of frail filly who could get the upper body strength to climb the poles. Stripping is honestly minimal, and nobody wants to be sat on by a 1,000-pound horse just because you've been keeping your eyes on my prizes. Also, I don't want to, so I don't. Not every liminal in the liminal-themed strip bar happens to be a liminal stripper. You seem to be ignoring the very obvious option that I might be a liminal patron in the liminal-themed strip bar, and not a liminal stripper. Maybe I'm a lesbian. Maybe I'm just here to support the girls. Maybe I'm a lesbian and see the chance to support the girls while seeing some tits is the best of both worlds. Get over yourself. Like you need to know. Well, let's face it. It's not like this place was made for me. Made for liminals, by liminals. It's just not. It's the same with everything else. Humans don't think there would be enough liminals interested in buying products made by and for liminals, so they mass market it to humans, and the humans flash out any interested liminals in the process, all the while. It's like how the market for self-tying shoes or blankets with sleeves. Devices that are marketed to lazy people that are more so meant for a disabled audience, but marketing to an otherwise able-bodied audience means that they're able to mass-produce these items, put them in commonly known retailers instead of specialty stores, and keep the prices down for convenience, as well as for the sake of an already highly price-gouged populace. Yeah, well, I did my thesis on it. Places like this aren't like that, because even with the knowledge that a blanket with sleeves is helpful for a person in a wheelchair, it's not like you're going to see anybody in a wheelchair in the commercials, because the producers think everyone who sees it will assume it's only made for disabled people, and they need the able-bodied individuals to bridge the gap. And maybe they're right. But maybe anybody self-centered enough will always be barging into places they don't really belong. Thus, the liminal strip bar. Oh, Hisette calls it a club. Of course Hisette calls it a club. Hisette would call it a club. But let's face it, it's one step away from a Tijuana Bible at all times. This isn't really a place for liminals. This is a place for you. You and your horniest human buddies. Well, for starters, What does a mermaid get out of sliding up and down a pole if not for the sake of your own satisfaction? I mean, the athleticism is astounding, and I'd love to know how she's getting those quads, but she's gotta be on some kind of pill to not be asphyxiating on stage right now, let alone lugging the weight of that fin where one wrong move could keep her in the kiddie pool for life, as she models sex for an audience that doesn't even have sex the way her species does. Now, let me ask you this. You think any merfolk, either man or maid, is going to see her on that stage and consider her as charming as you might in the way she moves her hips or flashes her clams? They might, but they might as well be watching as everyone around her gets unbelievably aroused by what might as well be gymnastics. Gymnastics that leave her on the brink of death are still so clearly and obviously gymnastics, bud. And the appeal might be there, but the sex appeal is gone. This is not a place for me. This is not a place for us. This is a place for you to come here and watch us prop up our corpses and dance to the whims of your own personal desires. As much as we are a part of this conversation, we aren't. Only you remain, and that's the thing about this place, isn't it? Why do I keep coming back if I so clearly resent the place and all it stands for? Well, who else is going to be that friendly face in the crowd? I'm as tough as they come, but I'm still kind of like them. Like them enough to be friendly simply by my presence. Different enough to be somewhat the same. I mean, come on, think about it. You come here all the time. I see you in here basically every night. But let me ask you a question. I've seen you get pretty friendly with the staff here on your time coming. From the bouncer to the DJ that still needs to text me back to the dancers themselves, so you're not just a regular. You're the regular. The regular that was able to pass through the veil of lust to reach pure, casual, platonic love, if not otherwise apathetic tolerance on most accounts. But let me ask you this. On the nights that you've been coming here, when they've packed the house with enough paying customers that they could be painting the walls with gold by the next day, let me ask you something. And I want you to really think about it. How many liminals have you seen in the crowd? How many liminals have you seen attending the shows performed by liminal dancers? Oh, sure, you're not watching the crowd. Whatever you need to say to soothe your fucking fragile heart. Whatever. Think about it sometime. Or don't. I don't get off on your understanding, or explaining my college thesis to some nerd in a strip club on their most pathetic of Last Suppers. You're buying me a brewski. That isn't a flirt. It's a command. You are buying me a brewski.